Okay, guys, you asked for it. So you were wondering if it's better to be a general contractor or a real estate agent. So I went ahead and looked it up, and here are the reasons why it's probably better for you to become a general contractor than a real estate agent. So the first reason is the money. So the average real estate agent last year made about $46,000 through the year. And you compare that with a general contractor, they made between $95,000 and $120,000 if they're working for a company. Now, if they own their own general contracting business, they made somewhere between $200,000 and $500,000 that year. So that is an amount of money that most real estate agents will never come across. The second reason why it might be better to become a general contractor is how long it takes to become a professional in your trade. So while becoming a real estate agent can be accomplished and get a license within a couple of weeks or a couple of months, being a general contractor usually takes 5 to 10 years, learning the trades, going through different apprenticeships. However, the difference is during those 5 to 10 years, it's not volunteer work. General contractors are getting paid on the job to learn these trades and to gather those hours in their apprenticeship. As opposed to a real estate agent, oftentimes once they get their license, they're not going to make a commission for 1 year, 18 months, sometimes 2 years after getting their license. So they have to have quite a significant savings to kind of float through those couple of years after getting their license. Another reason why it might be better to be a general contractor than a real estate agent is going to be your lifestyle or your daily or weekly schedules. Now, it's no secret that general contractors are working crazy hours as well. However, the difference is when a general contractor leaves the job site, oftentimes they're not going to have that mental stress or have to field calls at 9 o'clock at night on weekends or holidays, as opposed to a real estate agent. Real estate agents are generally going to be on call depending on when their client wants to talk to them. So that could be in the late evening, early mornings, holidays, weekends. So it's no wonder that out of 100 real estate agents, once they enter the trade, after 5 years, 87 of them are no longer real estate agents. So that brings me to the next reason why you might want to be a general contractor instead of a real estate agent. So with a general contractor, over these years of learning, they're going to build up actual assets of tools, equipment, reputation. They're going to have various crews. So at one point, the general contractor will be able to step back from the business while the business is still operating. And a lot of times those businesses eventually can be sold to another general contractor. Now you compare that with a real estate agent. Most of the time, a real estate agent is going to have to show up personally for their clients. It's much more difficult to build out a team and much more difficult to build up a business that you're going to be able to sell off one day. The next thing everyone is talking about is AI and automation. So if you look at these two professions, real estate agent and general contractor, one of them is really heavily under attack by websites like Zillow, Redfin, automation. In fact, a lot of a real estate agent's job can be automated. Now, when you compare that with a general contractor, there's not really a computer program that can pour a foundation for a house, frame a house. At one point we may get there, but that's far off into the future. So as far as job security, general contracting is less likely to be obliterated by automation. So now we can look at the job future. So the thing is, in the United States, we're short about 3 million to 5 million homes. So all of those homes are going to be built with general contractors. And that's just on the residential side, commercial property, data centers, reconstruction during storms, hurricanes, fires. All of that is generally handled by a general contractor. So the amount of work for a general contractor is scheduled to rise over the next coming decade. So if you're looking at these two different professions, is there anything that a real estate agent might be more of a benefit than a general contractor? And the answer is yes. There are teams of real estate agents that work in high-end areas like California or New York. And once they built up their teams, some of them are making $500,000 or $1 million per year. And most general contractors won't reach that level of income. In addition to being a general contractor, it is physically demanding as opposed to a real estate agent. Oftentimes real estate agents, once they have their business running, they can run that business all the way into 60 years old, 65, even 70 years old, because it is not physically demanding. So to answer the question, is it better to be a general contractor than a real estate agent? And based off all the data that I was able to read, there are quite a few benefits, such as learning on the job, building an actual business, building up real tools and assets that can later be sold to another business. And you compare that with a real estate agent that works unpredictable hours. The pay is unpredictable. Hours vary all over, coupled with a lot of their job being replaced by AI and automation. So for most people, a general contractor is definitely going to win that argument. So if you're watching this and you happen to be a general contractor and you have a different perspective, maybe your job is a lot harder than what the data provides, leave a comment below and I'll see you on the next one.